With October finally here, I thought it would be the perfect time to dive into some spooky and fun games to play to get you in the vibe and overall feeling of the season. So today we're going to explore a list of some must-play games, in my opinion, for the Halloween season. But before we get into that, hello, I'm Keegan and I like to talk about games. If you liked the video today, consider liking and subscribing as I greatly appreciate it and would love to have you here. So, October is one of, if not my favorite months of the year. Halloween is the shit, and with horror movies and candy, it's just awesome. How could you not love spooky season? But before I get a little too far off track, let's get into the spirit of things and get into some of my favorite games to play in October. Starting with Silent Hill 3, where you play as Heather Mason, a teenager drawn into the eerie town of Silent Hill. This game combines psychological horror with unsettling environments and has one of the most atmospheric horror vibes of any of the other titles in the series, not to mention the disturbing enemy types that you will come across in these scary environments. The gameplay features this classic survival horror with elements like resource management and puzzle solving, creating an immersive experience that keeps you on edge. It's not technically my favorite Silent Hill game in the series, that would go to Silent Hill 2, but I will say it is the darkest, like legitimately darkest and scariest game in the series. This game always freaked me out growing up, and it still does to this day, and I personally think it's perfect for the October vibe. Most Silent Hill games go well around this time, but in terms of the most tense and scariest, I'm gonna have to go with Silent Hill 3. This game is just a banger from start to finish, super dark, super eerie. If you like classic survival horror, kind of like the old Resident Evil games, this is the perfect game to play. Next up, with another somewhat throwback, maybe not as old as Silent Hill 3, but another throwback nonetheless, we have Among the Sleep, where you experience the world through the eyes of a toddler, and as cute as that may sound, this toddler goes on a wild-ass journey. This game explores themes of fear and childhood trauma as you navigate a haunting, nightmarish environment filled with surreal imagery. It's beautiful in a way, yet terrifying, and its first-person perspective emphasizes vulnerability, especially with how small you feel in this huge world, making every moment tense as you avoid nightmarish creatures. Not only is this game scary, it's just overall tense. This nightmare world you go through feels like a really bad dream, and in a way it kind of is, and I love how unique this game is in the way of like how our perspective as the player is, making it a must-play for the spooky season, in my opinion. I've played this game for a while, around this time of year, and while the ending is a little depressing, it's overall a great experience. Graphically not the most impressive game, but it does have this really nice style, and the gameplay is fairly solid. It's not a complicated game, it's actually very simple. The main draw is the story and the character we play as overall, and it's definitely a game I have to recommend for October. And it also kind of, maybe nostalgia is a little bit in there. It kind of just takes me back to another time, to the mid-20 teens, and that's always nice too. So next up is Killer Frequency. This is a somewhat newer title, which takes a unique approach by placing you just in this radio station while this killer roams this small town. You play as a radio DJ who is tasked with handling 911 calls, and you, the player, must guide a caller to safety, while unraveling the mystery of the killer. Another fairly simple game, but such a fun time. I actually played this a few months back on a stream and had a great time with it. The gameplay blends decision-making with some puzzles, with your choices impacting the outcome of the story. Again, not the most realistic-looking game of all time, not even close, because it has this almost graphic novel style to it, which I adore. I love when games look like this. Everything is dark as fuck with neon lighting, if that makes sense. It's got great vibes. I'm not sure if this game takes place in the fall, but it really does feel like it. And while you don't see any bits of the town, really, that this game takes place in, you feel the small town energy. It's a really great time and perfect for this time of year, so if like slower paced kind of decision making games with a lot of tension is for you, then this is a great title for you. I might have to run the stream back with this one for this month. Let me know if that's something you want to see, and maybe I'll put the streams on YouTube as well. But it's a great game, and you have to check it out.
But this dream unsettled me. It was wild and dark and weird, even by my standards. So yes, it began with a dream.
Moving on, we have Alan Wake, because you gotta play this game in the fall. This game, following a thriller novelist named Alan Wake, is trapped in this nightmare version of the Pacific Northwest. The narrative blends reality with supernatural elements, and the game's innovative use of light as a weapon against the darkness adds a unique gameplay twist that I love, along with Alan's psychological struggles and his kinda quest to uncover the truth, driving the narrative forward. And there's a reason I've seen a lot of praise for this game, and I actually didn't play this game for the longest time. I always meant to, I just never got around to it. Until like a month ago, or maybe a little more, when my lovely 3-year-old, who now plays Xbox, decided to buy some stuff off my wish list, and he bought this game. And while I was like, damn, I wasn't trying to buy all that yet, he told me it was a gift from me. And that just felt too special. So I thanked him for buying me a game with my own money, and I've been playing on this game, and may I say, what a great gift. This game is fire. A lot of you watching this might have already played this title, but if you haven't, it is definitely perfect for the Halloween month. But moving down the line, we got a title that dropped last month, actually, the casting of Frank Stone. I did a spoiler and non-spoiler review of this game that you should actually check out when you're done here, if you're interested. The game offers the classic multiple perspectives you see in these choose-your-own-adventure-ish kind of games. From the makers of games like Until Dawn and The Quarry, supermassive games, set in the world of the PvP online horror game Dead by Daylight. Now, I've already talked about this game quite a bit, but it's already climbed up pretty high on my ranking of supermassive games, giving us 2, technically 3 time eras to mess around in, with the prologue being in 1963, a half of the game being in 1980, and the other half taking place in 2024, all centered around a film called Murder Mill, and a curse of a killer named Frank Stone. It's a lot of fun. If you're the type of person that likes Until Dawn or the Dark Pictures, then you'll absolutely love this game. I've already talked about it ad nauseum, so I'm not going to go too much further into it, but definitely has that fall vibe, definitely perfect to play around Halloween. So if you haven't checked it out yet, it's actually pretty cheap. I think even if it's not on sale, I think the game is just standardly $50 or $40, so go check that out if you haven't already. So last up, I figured just round off with 6 titles. I have Layers of Fear. This is kind of another somewhat throwback. This game is a masterclass in psychological horror. You, the player, play as a disturbed painter exploring his crumbling mansion in this like endless limbo in a way. The game plays with perception as rooms shift and change, reflecting the protagonist's fractured mind. Every move somewhat impacts the narrative a little bit, making it a very unforgettable journey through, madness. Now, most of the games I've had on this list aren't hard, but have a really great aesthetic, and this game is no different, but I think it does it the best. Something about endlessly wandering this giant house feels cozy, but claustrophobic all at the same time. It's not that hard of a game, but damn is it a good one. It's not necessarily a yearly play for me, but I do think about this game quite a bit. If there was ever a better time to play this game, it would be now. Plus, I think it got a remaster not too long ago, so now's a great time to give it a shot if you haven't already. I think they remastered 1 and 2, so if you like the first one, give the second one a shot too since you're at it. But it's perfect for this time. So that is my list. Now, like I just said, that all the games that I went into detail about aren't necessarily hard, for the most part, but story-wise and atmospherically, they go off. I wanted to do a list of easier-ish games, other than Silent Hill 3. That game can be a little tough, but I wanted to do some lighter stuff first, because not everyone wants to sweat their ass off. you will get that enough from just the tension of these games. I went with more story-driven games. I do plan to do another video soon with some games that are a little more challenging and more games you can play for this kind of time in the fall, but it's never bad to start off slow and fun. But anyways, those are my picks, and I would love to know your personal picks of games to play in the awesome month of October. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to talk about it. But anyways, that's all I got for you today. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe to see more of what I've done and what's to come. I'd always love to have ya. I hope you enjoyed, but anyways, thanks for coming, and thanks for watching.